For those of you who don't know, last week was the 35th annual 2023 Junior National Pool Championships. We're going to feature a couple of racks of straight pool because this is the first year that they had a straight pool event. They also played 8-ball, 9-ball, and 10-ball. I could have featured a lot of players, but we'll take a look at one young woman and one young man, and they both run a rack of straight pool. But the reason why I chose these two is because they exemplify something that I promote, and that's a slow backstroke. This juniors program has been growing in recent years, and they had a great presence this year on the Post Up YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description to that. You can go over there and check out the videos of the event. Lots of different games and lots of different players. Let's give our support to the juniors, and let's take a look at how they play some straight pool. The Mast Easton match starts off with a safety. Mast pocketed a break ball, but didn't have a shot. And so she plays a very good safety. Now, she knew what to do there, just tap one of those head balls. Great result because we got a ball that's kind of out in front of each corner pocket. So how are you going to defend against that? You can't leave the cue ball anywhere up table or your opponent has a shot. So Savannah's looking at it, and she decides to, really smart shot, just put the cue ball over by this pocket. So the best shot that her opponent's going to have is a bank shot on this 5-ball, which of course isn't the right shot. It's going to be a safety return. Now I like what Sophia Mast tries to do here. She's trying to just bring the cue ball all the way up table and probably just bank the 5-ball over to the bottom rail. That takes a lot of speed control to do that. Now the 5-ball ends up leaking out, and so I'll give you a little tip on what to do here. There's a good way to make sure that this ball doesn't leak out on you. See how it comes over too far? What you want to do, instead of just banking this ball straight across and trying to get it to stop here with speed control, overcut it so that you're banking it 2 rails, kind of towards the 15. Now, if you hit it too hard, it's going to hit the 15 and stop. Or maybe it'll stop here, but at least you're giving the 5-ball a longer route to travel, and it's hitting the rails, which are going to slow it down a little bit. When you do that, you're hitting it thinner. That means you're not trying to send the cue ball straight up to the top of the center rail. So you're banking the 5-ball this way, then you're hitting the cue ball thinner. The cue ball can go to the side rail and then up to the head rail. So it's all a much more controllable shot. So a little advice there. But anyway, so here's a position. You're 8.5 feet away from this 4-ball, or I think it's 5-ball. It's the only shot you have. Is Savannah going to clear the rack here or not? Trick question. Obviously here the cue ball is going to go into the stack, and you just want to put all your efforts on making the ball. There's not going to be a lot of control of the cue ball. And so this is a fine effort. You don't need to smash that rack. You don't need to splatter it and getting them all wide. And the reason is you've got this ball as a follow-up, and Savannah knew that. Love what she's doing there. She went over and looked. She's elevated, so you can't do a lot with the cue ball, but she went and looked and said, okay, if my cue ball stops here, I've got a shot in the one inside. Good straight pool. Keep the cue ball alive. Keep the cue ball off the rail. Just make the ball. Now she can make this ball, and she can play position for either the 7 or this stripe. Is that the 12 maybe? I like playing position for the 12, and I think she does too. I don't think this is any accident. This is a controlled shot. Cue ball's coming straight down the table for position on that 12. Now she wouldn't have to. She could shoot the open ball, and then I don't know what, maybe play position for the 15 in this corner, or try to punch it in and come out. But I think the right shot, and she makes a good choice here. I think this is the right shot because this 3-ball can act like an insurance ball. Whether you cut this ball, whether you draw it or go with follow, and the cue ball comes back up, you're likely to have a shot on that 3-ball. But you want to hit it with enough speed to make sure you get the cue ball off from that pack. Man, what a beautiful shot. What a really nice controlled shot. Now, coming up here, we're going to see a little bit of lack of experience, but yet she still gets through the rack. She makes the right decision. You could cut this 3 and go back into the balls again, thinking you're going to get a shot, and you probably would, but it's a less controllable shot than what she's doing here. And at first I thought she was going to do the right thing, which is cut this ball just like her opening shot in this inning, and let the cue ball go into the stack. Because if you do that, you're likely going to have the cue. Even if the cue ball stops here, you'll have a shot in the 15. If the cue ball goes through those or comes off a little bit, you'll have a shot on the 3. But I think the shot here, let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but I do believe the correct shot here is to go off this 11 and go into those balls. You've kind of got a catcher's mitt that's going to stop those. Unless if you judge it badly and hit the 6 and go up table, that would be bad. But I think it's just such a huge target to go into the bottom of these. And then those balls are open and you're going to have a shot in the 15 and maybe the 3 ball as well. That said, this isn't a bad choice. She's clearing the open balls. Now, when you're if you're a league or something and the opponents aren't likely to run 28 or 42 balls on you, this is great strategy. Clear the open balls and then take your chance on a shot that you know you're going to make. And if it doesn't work out, you play it safe. No big deal. So this is good strategy. So she's making the open balls. And she's got, I like removing the 11 earlier also because it's a blocker for the 15. But that's if you're trying to run 50. Not saying she's not trying to run 50. But now she can tap this 11 in and come back over here to shoot the 15. Just good speed control. Great speed control. You can see I say lack of experience because they're young, but you can tell she's got a lot of experience playing pool. And I love what she did there. She walked over here and looked at the angle of the cue ball coming off the 15 to open these balls. And I'm going to play that one again just because I want to make another point. And the reason why I'm featuring Savannah in this one is a real good reason. And it's this right here. I want you to watch her elbow, but more importantly, I want you to watch how slowly she strokes the cue ball in the backstroke. Watch this. Slow and then through. And her elbow dropped a lot. That's the one thing I would do if I could give her some advice would be to learn to shoot those shots. She could get the exact same action with no elbow drop on that shot. But that slow backstroke was beautiful. That's how you play pool. She's going to do it again. She does it on every shot. See how slow that cue came on the backstroke? I want to make a video about that soon. It's really important. Anyway, back to straight pool. There's a decision point here, which I think there may be a little bit of lack of experience because she's a little unfortunate that the 6 ball didn't come out for a better break shot. Because if the 6 came out for a break shot, then it's automatic. She shot this ball, which leads to this ball, which leads to this ball, which gives you the perfect angle on the 8 to come up here, and you have it as a 6 ball for the break shot. Very natural and an excellent end pattern. But the 6 ball didn't come out, so she doesn't have the 6 ball for a break shot. So you've got to decide which ball is your break ball. In this case, and she's choosing this one. That's in her mind right now. She wants this to be her break ball. And I don't think that's the right choice. I think that the 5 ball is a much better break ball, which is a great opportunity here to get ball in hand in the kitchen, to cut this 5 in the side and go into the stack. And that is to shoot the 8 right now and just come up here. Because then it's so easy to cut this 14 no matter what angle you get and hold the cue ball close to a straight in shot on the 6. And you can stop the cue ball in the stack, get ball in hand on that 5. Anyway, I'm not saying she doesn't know that. She might and didn't want to. But she's trying to get position on the 6, to get position on the 5, to lay the cue ball on the rail here for this break shot. She didn't get it. And now I think what she's trying to do, so she's still trying to get there. So she's like, okay, I think if that's what you're trying to do, it's got to be the right shot to shoot the 6 now and come tight out of this corner and try and come over here, because then you're very likely to come far enough to tap this ball on the side and get right here on the rail. But she chooses to go around 3 rails off the 5. So she's trying to come around the table and land over here. Watch that slow backstroke in the elbow. Watch. So her elbow didn't drop until after the cue ball was had left the cue. There's no point in dropping the elbow. I'm going to make a video about it. I've already made several. You guys know where I stand. But the cue ball didn't get here, which is where she wanted, because then she could have done this to try and get that angle on the break ball. Watch the control on this shot. This looks like Dennis Orcolo was shooting this shot. Look at that. Thin cut shot to bring the cue ball center table and give yourself a sharp angle on the 14 to go into the stack. I mean, there's experience there. She knew what to do. It's a recovery shot, but she knew what to do. Unfortunately, she misses this 14 ball, and that's easy to do. It's a very difficult shot. So this is a great angle. You can see how tough this shot is. You want just a little bit. Yeah, she had a little bit of left English on that cue ball to bring the cue ball into the stack. Now, she overcut it. Had the 14 ball gone into the pocket, the cue ball would not have gone this way. It would have gone this way and hit the top two balls and come off, knocking balls this way. That's a really well executed break shot. She just happened to overcut it, and we've all done that. So that's a great example. That's a great rack by, I should have looked it up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't she 14 years old? That's a lot of good shot making and good decision making and great execution by a junior. Okay, let's take a look at the next match. This is the beginning of the game between Joey Tate and Payne McBride. And Payne is in a very difficult spot. The balls are loosened, but he doesn't have a shot. He needs to play a safety. He's trying to skim off the 10 and bring the cue ball to the bottom rail. And if you can pull that off, it's fine. The problem is you're exerting force on the balls this way and something can pop loose, which is indeed what happens. What I like is thinning this 2 ball, meaning I want to try and cut the 2 ball this way and even hit that 7. Just cut it really thin, probably some inside English on the cue ball so that the cue ball just comes straight back up table right where it is now. Now, if you mishit that, same thing. You can hit the rack and get a ball loose out here where your opponent has a shot on it. So there's a danger both ways. But I think there's less of a chance of a ball popping out by cutting the 2 ball this way. And you're leaving the cue ball long, which is always a good thing when you're playing safe. Whereas here, the cue ball is going to be close, and your opponent is likely going to have some type of an easy way to return the safety. Anyway, it is unfortunate. You can see that 5 ball gets knocked out, and Joey has an opening shot to begin with. Now, it's still not a great opportunity. The balls are completely clustered. And about the only thing that I initially see is that Joey could do is bring the cue ball past these 2 stripes and try and play for this window on the 9 ball. But he teaches me a little something here. Look at how much right English he's got on this cue ball. And that's to kill the speed of the cue ball. So he's got a shot on the 7 and the side. And after shooting the 7, he can choose the 2 or the 9 as balls to re-break the rack with. Really smart shot, smart play. Good decision. So just roll this in. And then I like his decision here. You're gonna be tempted to want to blast this really hard and just smash these balls so they're all wide open. But if you do that, you're losing your market on your insurance ball, which is the 9 ball in this case. So he hit it pretty firm. He may have been thinking about opening them all wide, but he played it with control, with draw, to get the cue ball to hold here for the 9. Now, same shot, except now he doesn't have an insurance ball. So now he's going to really draw it to make sure that he gets the cue ball up off of those balls and gets the cue ball clear. Great shot. You know, sometimes when you're playing straight pool, it seems like no matter how hard you hit it, you hit the stack, you just can't get those balls to open up. And I think that's a little bit of what Joey's going through here. But like I mentioned with Savannah Easton, I want you to take a look at this shot. His only choice is to cut this 8 ball with some speed to go into these balls and try and open them up. But watch the elbow. Watch the speed of the backstroke on this shot. This is really critical, guys. Watch the speed of the backstroke. Now, he dropped his elbow the way Savannah did, but he doesn't do that on every shot. But he does pull his cue back slowly on every shot. That's how you get control of the cue ball. That's how you get consistency of hitting your aim point. There's just so many benefits. Now, he pocketed the 8-ball cleanly, but still didn't get the balls open. So he's trying again. He's going to go into the top of these balls with the 14, which is what I would do. Great shot, but they're still tied up, and he doesn't have a shot over here. So what are you going to do now? He played it in a smart way because these two stripes, one of these two stripes were likely to be his follow-up shot. Now you can see he studied the rack a little bit. What did you notice what he saw? Same thing that I saw. When you're looking at these balls, don't just look at a way to crash into them. Ask yourself which balls are open to what pockets. There's only 2 balls that have an open pocket, and it's the 1 ball and the 3 ball in this way. So he went to, a lot of people might want to go to this 10 ball because it's a straighter in shot. But he has a better chance of playing position over here off from the 15 ball. Wise choice. Watch the speed of the backstroke. Nice, slow backstroke, hesitation at the back, and the cue ball goes right where he wanted it. Now, this is a really tough rack. It's still clustered. He's halfway through the rack. It's still clustered, and there's no break ball. What do? I'm going to be looking at crashing into these balls or hitting, shooting the 2 ball and trying to come across and hit these balls and open them up. Joey realizes that after the 3 ball's gone, this 15 ball, they're moving the camera on me, this 15 is open to this pocket. So he's going to play position for that. That's great awareness and great speed control. And I think he's got an angle now to run into those balls. Whoop, they're panning the camera around the room. I believe that they were looking at Sam. Sam was the young man, I believe, who won the straight pool tournament eventually. A great player. I could have easily featured a rack by him as well. So here you go into those balls with some speed and hope you get a shot. And this always happens when you go into a cluster. He gets his easiest shot is the 5 in the side, but that's also his best break ball for the next rack. So you don't really want to shoot it. Great awareness, though. He went to this combination, and he's got to put a lot of right English on this to spin the stripe into the 1. But that's great awareness. He's not shooting off his break ball. He gets that. Preserves his break ball by shooting the combination and opening up the rest of the rack. So a lot of shots. There's only 5 balls left. A lot of shots to get to this point. And I think the right shot here, it's a delicate shot, is to cut this 13 ball. He's got a lot of angle on it. Draw the cue ball softly so that it brushes the 6. And that's going to bounce the 6 up a little and allow you to control the cue ball right here. So you preserve a shot on the 6 ball in this pocket. Joey just sees it a different way, though. And the reason why that's the right shot is because with your break ball here, these 2 balls, the 10 and the 13, connect to each other. What I mean is if you get a shot up here on the 13, it connects to the 11, to the 10. You can easily play the 13, get position on this 10, and then go to the rail and out for your break shot, or if you get a different angle, you can draw back for your break shot. They connect. Same thing. If the cue ball lands here, you're on the 10 on the side, and that connects easily over here to the 13, and then you shoot the 13 and come out here for your break shot. So these 2 are connecting balls. That's why I would really want to play the 13 and then the 6 next. Joey doesn't like that shot for whatever reason, so he's going to play position on the 13, or whatever this pink ball is over that 12, I guess, on the rail. So he's avoiding contacting the 6 at all so that he knows where the cue ball goes. So I can't argue with that decision. But it makes the rest of the end pattern difficult. There's no stop to get on the break ball. This is a great shot. It doesn't look like much, but he's got to come across table, not hit his break ball, and hit the side rail to come off and get an angle. And not, it's real easy to come down here and get straight in on that 6 ball. So try that shot next time you're at the table. It's not as easy as it looks. So now, how are you going to get position on the break shot? It's going to be difficult. What you'd love to do, like I said, is come over here. Even now, if you can come over here, then you just got a real easy shot to pinch the cue ball over here for your break shot. But it's real hard to get the cue ball to land in that spot. Sometimes the cue ball goes behind the break ball or right on top of it, so you can't draw the cue ball, or it goes a little bit past. Now you got to come 3 rails around to get on your break shot. So I like his decision here, which is to come over here. Playing position for the 10 ball in the side pocket. If you land straight, you're good. You don't want to come past the shot line. You don't want to come on this side of the ball. And so he erred on that side. That's a great decision. And the reason is if he wanted to, and he goes and takes a look at it, I believe. Yeah, he's going to go take a look at it. If you wanted to, you can just roll this straight forward and accept a longer shot on this break ball. Or you can go to the head rail and down, which is what he tries to do. And I like it. I like this because you can really control the angle of the cue ball off this head rail, which he misplays a little bit. See right there, if the cue ball had a touch of left English, I think it would have come down straighter, and then he would have had this shot. Look at the difference between this cue ball and this one. It's a real big difference. So this is a difficult break shot, and he misses it, and I've missed this shot a million times. It's a powerful break shot if you pocket the ball, and you don't have to hit the shot with a lot of power. Just make the ball. The cue ball's going to have plenty of speed, and just use a soft follow stroke, which is what he does. And most of the time when people miss this shot, they overcut it, but he undercuts it just by a hair. And watch the action of the cue ball. And he doesn't overpower this. Slow backstroke. Well, he may have overpowered it a little bit. But look how wide the ball's opened with not a hard stroke. Had he pocketed that ball, he would have been off and running. So I think there was a lot of tough shots in that rack and a lot of good decision-making by Joey Tate. I'll put a link in the description to the channel that was streaming the contest live. There's tons of matches by the men and the women. They played straight pool, 9-ball, 10-ball, and 8-ball. Just a fantastic tournament. You're looking at some of the future pros from America here, and I only featured 2 of them. There were a lot of other wonderful players. So go check them out. You're going to see some great straight pool there. Next week, we're going to feature a rack by me on my table right behind me. Thanks for watching. Hope you like that. See you next week.